Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to the SVA BFA Comics BFA Illustration Open House once again. I am here to introduce your illustrative chair, Mr. Viktor Koen. Enjoy the session.
Good morning, everyone. That's the spirit. Thank you for coming. I know this is a precious and hectic time when you try to research schools, apply to them, and eventually choose one of them. I know the process really well. I am sandwiched between two juniors. My daughter is a junior at college, and my son is a junior in high school. So I'm very familiar with what's going on and how complicated the process is. And that makes me very aware for how unique everyone's journey is to eventually get here, especially when I compare it with my journey to the School of Visual Arts, coming all the way from the other side of the Atlantic. What brought me here, other than the school's fame for excellent faculty, was these posters. The first time that I came to the school to visit, in a visit just like this, this poster said, asked me a very simple question: why be good when you can be great? And delusional about my abilities, I applied and eventually survived. So this is the sketchbook practice. I learned everything that you see on the wall at school. This is what my work looked like when I came to it. Scary and exciting, but not enough. So everything I needed, I got from school, and I'm very thankful to my teachers and mentors. This leads me eventually to my thesis project, and these are my first pieces published in the New York Times. This piece was taken right out of my thesis project to be my first publication. I spent a couple of years as an art director at Marvel Comics. I got to design the first credit card campaign and a lot of collectibles, including their stationary systems. I moved and smoothly transitioned into newspaper illustration, where I specialized in covers. That brought magazine covers, book covers. That is something that I still do today. Licensing, and this is my graphic novel that sprung a series of licensing contracts with skateboards and snowboards here in Europe. Work for bands, public art. Photoville is the biggest photography event in town, and eventually gallery and museum work. Public artwork as well. This is the space where the first Marathon Cup is kept in Athens at their public library. And posters, mostly what I specialized in today. I'm showing you all of this because my mother would not have it any other way. And here she is standing by my first subway poster. She must have spent hours in there telling everyone that this is her son. So in a very funny way, a poster brings me to school, and then I get to do posters for the school. That brings me in full circle in what I do today. Here's some very simple advice when choosing art schools. The right department, choosing the right department, it means your passions are invested correctly. It means your practice works much better, and that gives you the best results. Choose well according to school reputation, because that means faculty and collaborations, and that means recognition to your degree. Choose a place with excellent faculty. It means industry experience, plus quality equals results and connections in the field. Choose the location. That means the ability to recruit the best faculty plus industry connections. That means networking, and that means working. And finally, school size, because that means, and it translates directly to the resource that a school has plus the opportunities, and that equals results. This is as good as I get in math. So you got it. In numbers, we have 160 award-winning faculty. That gives a lot of flexibility. 179 core and elective classes, 12 labs and studios. What, who, and when, and here if I can use the F word for once, faculty. So let me talk to you about our faculty. By far, the dream team that comes from a place, that only comes from a place like New York and its surrounding areas. And here is a very small sampling of the people who teach at the school. Quite a few of them studied at the school. People like Yuko, Daxalati, the Caldegat winner last year, Anthony McBain and Roxy, Alitha Martinez, Jensen. You will recognize projects, you will recognize brands, you will recognize work for properties and theatrical plays and covers and licensing and product and book covers and stories and celebrations in stores and cosmetic industries, sci-fi covers by people like Chris McGrath. This is some more of my handiwork. How did this get in here? Editorial by Steve Brodner, the work of Travis Louis, Peter's books, Sam Weber's covers, Natalie Asensio's paintings, Marcus, you saw me quite a few of the photographs, Torrin Clark's comics covers, Eugenia Mella, who teaches the Extraordinary Picture Book, Principles of Cartooning by Jamal Eigel, Toy Production by Jason Freeney, Advanced Drawing by Jonathan, Intro to Character Development by Shin, Webcomics by Evan Dum. Amy Chu is teaching comics writing, so it's not only studio classes, but also humanities and art history for people that want to write and extend. So humanities and art history doesn't feel like a chore or punishment. Lydia teaches history of manga. And here's pretty much our chemistry formula: visual thinking, processed, not processed, and true skills. Class of 2025, the people that just graduated, just a few examples that we featured at our senior show just a few months ago, people that are well into promoting and cultivating their careers. I met with Rainey for coffee the other day to calibrate her career forward. Max Fabro, Carol and Lena, Michael Fiore and Sean, and comics work. Comics work that we share and showcase in places like SPX, MoCA, MICE, and everyone and everywhere. Our Cartoon Allies club, our longest standing and biggest club in the school, will take us. This is a little bit about our recognition. We don't like bragging, but we still do it. From the Society of Illustrators, from Graphice, from 3x3, and these are just some of the samples of the awards that come back from competitions across the country. And let me transition into our team. This is the best team of individuals I've ever had the privilege to working with, from our small and mighty team at the office to our coordinators for illustration and comics, all the way to our academic advisors. Just like David said, these are people that follow our students' career from the first day at their school all the way to seeing them graduate at the Radio City Music Hall, where our graduation takes part. Let me throw in our latest collaboration with NASA that culminated to an exhibition that we just had this past September. The show is moving to Korea. So these are 12 posters from the illustration department and 12 posters from the design department that will travel around the world and around the country. Events like the Pictoplasma Festival, the most known festival for character development, coming all the way from Berlin. This is their third year with us, and we're closing on the dates for the next one. But this is the caliber of events that take place right in this theater that becomes our backyard. International festivals like Illustrafest in Madrid, we're getting ready for that for March. Mocha Festival, where we have a big imprint, and this is our Cartoon Allies booth and all the activity and enthusiasm around it, or multiple galleries. But here I'm going to stand at the pop-up show that we have at Mocha. We host all of their talks and all of their programming, and this is where our students' exhibition is. So every single lecture, every single big shot, every mover and shaker in the industry goes through our kids' work and marvels at their process. This is a show that is actually still going on, and it's coming down next week in our gallery in Seoul. This is our first show in Korea, and we're working on a show in Shanghai at the moment. To our guest speakers and events, for Nicolas Grivel on the top corner, who is the big shot agent for graphic novels, who comes in to lecture and prep students and review portfolios. From Paris all the way to the bottom corner where you see Art Spiegelman, who has taught in the school, and everyone in between. On the top is Mike Mignola, creator of many, many comics that we know so well. Our Art Teachers Symposium, this was our second year that we hosted it. We host this free and open day-long symposium for high school art teachers, and we just had it last weekend. All the way to small companies like this one, recruiting at the school and looking for the best. We're having such presentations in the next coming 2 weeks. And as long as they include lunch, I'll be there. So let's go to Industry Day. That is our big end-of-the-year event. We book the Metropolitan Pavilion, the #1 venue in the city, and we exhibit our kids' work. Over 300 industry players are coming to look at the portfolios and hire and expose them to criticism and keep their postcards in the back pocket for when they need it. We have our publication that goes to the right hands, and some of them are yours. These are the publications you have in your bag as we speak. To recap what we do for seniors within the industry, we have our senior show that takes place in our museum quality gallery on the east side and the west side. Mocha hosting an exhibition, our Industry Day, our career fair that is a completely different event. Our senior web registry, where all of our graduates' portfolios are kind of culminated in the one place where people that need to hire can be found. Our Illo Comics publication, our career development office, a very special office dedicated to collaborating on internships, and our 11, and I think by now it's like about 1,200 SVA faculty network that creates the SVA planet and space where everyone becomes a connection to industry. Let me go through a little bit of our known alumni, and we have put a really great mix here from people that you know and you've seen in galleries, have graduated from our department, to James Jean, Alex, Chapman, Zia, Toma Wagner, Olivia Fields, and it's endless. TQ is actually back in graduate school and is again my student. Violeta Encarnacion, with whom we collaborate. She just graduated 3 years ago, and she's one of the artists that we took to Madrid for IllustraFest. Rachel is doing great, just graduated 2 years ago. Nate, books that you might recognize. Molly Ostergaard, Alex, Gil, who is chair of BFA Illustration at the College for Creative Studies. So people that graduated, and we have a sampling of many years of graduations that hold full-time positions, and these are very different. So here is someone that graduated from 1986, is a chair of BFA Illustration Department. Brian is the Senior Director, Creative AI at SGR Group. Tomer Hanuka is the Principal Illustrator at Rockstar Games, people with whom we have a great collaboration. Diana is an art director at the New York Times. Jordan, who graduated 3 years ago, is the program manager in competitions and festivals at the Society of Illustrators. Someone that just graduated just 3 years ago, junior designer at Scholastic Books. Valentina is a junior agent at M&A. She just graduated 2024. I ran into her in a big industry event last year. Joe is the CEO of Alumnus LLC. You might recognize the work. Dave Roman is the series editor for First Second Books, one of the biggest publishers of such work in the New York City area. So we have people from the industry teaching in our departments. Paul is the group editor from DC Comics. And Sam is character developer and designer at The Simpsons, Fox Television Animation. Ariana Torturo is senior associate editor at DC Comics. These are all full-time positions that our graduates achieve along the big part of freelance work that we get. And then we have Dominique, who is the senior content strategist for digital marketing, DK Books, one of the biggest educational book publishers. Curriculum, just to give you a little bit of a large scope of how the years work. In the first year, you get a very strong boost. That's 180 hours of drawing and 180 hours of painting. So this is organized in this general way into 72 credits in studio arts. We have 3 credits from undergraduate elective courses, 30 credits from humanities and sciences, and 15 credits in art history. So we have a really strong, robust humanities and art history. When an artist grows, they need to know what have come behind them and before them in order to be able to chart and lead what is ahead of them. And we take pride in a great amount of art history classes and great humanities. We work very hard to create that interest for our department specifically. And that concludes in 120 credits. That's what gives you a recognized and celebrated BFA in illustration or BFA in comics. As I said, in the first year, you get a very strong dose of drawing and painting. You get sculpture, printmaking, or intro to comics if you're the comics department. Your writing and literature and your art history. The second semester is the second half of all of this. So this concludes a very strong foundational year. Anywhere you look at it, you clock a lot of hours training and becoming really strong, training these muscles that will bring you to the second year. That is really the year that enters you into our professions. You get your principles of illustration, and this is the core class, or principles of comics. You get your painting for illustration or storytelling, and this is open to illustration students as well, the storytelling class. You get still drawing, your history of illustration or history of comics in the fall or spring semesters, 1 digital technique elective and 1 traditional technique elective. The spring semester is the second part, the advanced part of what we do on the first semester. So everything is built around that 1 core class with a lot of electives revolving around it. Our fall semester in the 3rd year brings us to pictorial projects. It's a very exciting first semester of experimenting and flexing our stylistic muscles. And the second semester is based on a book adaptation of your choice that you will bring to reality with a published edition of it. You have technical electives, your professional practice, the ins and outs of the industry by some of the best people there, producers, art directors, and illustrators themselves that specialize in it. You got your art history electives, you got your humanity electives, and second semester follows the advanced editions of these. And then we come to the fourth year, that is your senior thesis, and this is very important. That's the core class for the last year. It brings your technical electives, your senior symposium. That is an edition on Fridays that interviews some of the best practitioners out there, your art history electives, humanity electives, and any leftover things that you have in order to get to your 120 credits. That is what your academic advisors specialize in, reminding you and charting you and making sure you are in the right trajectory and right pace in order to graduate. So there's a great amount of responsibility when it comes to taking a student with great potential and delivering them a full, rounded, competitive professional. We have our senior thesis is concluding in the second semester, and this is where we draw from and exhibit for the senior thesis project and that big exhibition in our gallery on the west side, along with finishing everything else. We have opportunities for studying abroad. The Lucas School of Arts in Brussels, Belgium is one of the best established academies in illustration, but also comics as well. So in the last few years, comics students had the opportunity to go in an exchange program, along with another choice of the Willem de Kooning Academy of Arts in Rotterdam, another school that has a really long European tradition, established in 1773. I was very young back then. But they're still growing and kicking, and we have a really great relationships. Their students come here, and our students go there. So, a little bit about our new faculty, because we always have addition of new and exciting people to teach at the school. Pictorial projects, Kikuo Johnson, you recognize the work. Daniel Zander is back to school. He was a student of mine to teach pictorial projects while he's going through his amazing career. Carrie Vanderjagt, that just gave a lecture at Pictoplasma a few weeks ago, is teaching advanced character design. Senior thesis is taught by David Cooper, who gave a great presentation at our Art Teacher Symposium last week. Working with the art director, Mike Schneid, big shot out there in the art directorial world. Our toy design class with Vincent Scala. Introvisual development with Maya. So these are all fully baked classes that really go back and forth with the industry. And we take freshman drawing with Nicole Varela, storyboarding with Tori Sika, advanced storyboarding with Ryan for comics, but also for television and for animation. Our facilities, you will see our facilities, but just in case some of you will not be able to join us for every single aspect, we have our classrooms and our drawing rooms, our CI Lab and CI Lounge. This is a facility that we just opened. This is our exclusive comics and illustration place for people to do their homework, to hang out, to touch base, but also to print and bind and collate and cut. Our senior studios for comics and illustration. Our print shop, one of the best print shops in town. We take great pride in this. I take classes there. Visual Arts Library, we have one, our big one is on the east side and you will see it. We also have an annex on the west side to cover that. Our galleries, 7 different exhibition spaces that change all the time. So at every moment you have an opening to go to, and you have a lecture to go to. Along with our passes, your SVA ID gets you into MoMA, Whitney, Brooklyn Museum, and the new museum. So pretty much the city is our internet. You can go You don't have to look it through a glass. You can go there and be part of it. Endless student clubs, as Matthew mentioned. Our Cartoon Ally Student Club, the oldest, strongest, and biggest. It's a completely student-run club. They tell us what they want, and as long as it's not going to get us into trouble, we pay for it. And then some free advice. Please take it with you no matter where you go. These are some words that I've heard and made up and combined and changed. Draw like your life depends on it. It does. Think in your sketchbook. Electronics are slippery and full of other people's work. Inspiration is for amateurs. We make sparks on demand. Art is based on productivity. Everything else is hot air. Create more than you consume. We're producers, not consumers. Be jealous of great work and do something about it. Envy is a powerful motivator. It's the only thing that keeps me alive. It's never about talent. It's about choices. Talent is nice, but not enough. You learn best from teachers you love and teachers you hate. We have plenty of both. Use your devices, not the other way around. Technology is a tool. You are not. Creative thinking is a key to success. Be very critical of those telling you otherwise. If you're not early, you're late. This is a deadline-oriented business. Get used to it. Invest in your relationships at school. These are your first meaningful industry connections. Finish what you start. This will make you very special. When getting advice, first consider the source. This should have been the first slide. And I thank you deeply for your attention and the opportunity to get to meet you. Before our panel will take over and they will address your questions, I would love to know if you have any specific questions for me. I will also be available when we're going to be having lunch outside, so it's a very important kind of quality time that I'm at your disposal. It was a pleasure to meet some of you. Just I sneak up on you this morning to ask weird questions, and this is why. So do we have any questions? Please do. There's a microphone coming, so...
Sorry, I was too excited. Are there any undergrad level industrial design or product design sort of hard surface drawing classes available?
We have our toy design class that is actually based on something like this, as producing a project. You will be able to take also classes. We have a great industrial design department that you could take electives with. So pretty much within, for example, the illustration or the comics department, someone that wants to produce toys, you can have your character development class, you can have your toy design, your toy production. Jason Freeney is like one of the biggest producers of toys. He produces about 200 toys a year. And then you would be able to take an elective or two in our 3D department to kind of make a whole program for yourself. Down there, I think I saw some hands. Okay, microphone is making its way.
Really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you. So what is the faculty to student ratio, and what are the levels of faculty-student interactions at school, especially at the freshman and the sophomore level?
Okay. We have several contact points with our students. Number one, even if you're a freshman, and there are a lot of classes that take place since it's like very heavy on drawing and painting, but also we have printmaking for illustrators. So our faculty is teaching printmaking specifically. I mean, they make like a silk screen book. So by the office kind of looking at every student through our assessments, I mean, we spend a good amount of the summer reviewing everyone's work. So we get to know the names and the work, and we follow up and we try to identify any issues that people should look out for. We have our academic advisors. We're in very close contact with our faculty. There is such a high amount of care that goes into that individuality and knowing. We care about someone running into trouble. That's our number one care, along with like celebrating and being really excited about people that are doing really well. We are really keeping a close eye on everyone else. So the students vis-a-vis their coordinators, their students vis-a-vis the faculty, the students vis-a-vis the office. These are three very specific points where students are in touch with what we do. Comics students have their intro to comics, so that's when they're introduced into a comic book artist right from the first year. We also run competitions. We have a great sticker competition that is open to everyone, and we're looking forward to our freshman entries. We have our New Year card that is an open competition. So we are keeping in touch. Also, everyone hands in portfolios, so we go and we speak to them. They get our emails, and eventually they come into the sophomore year where the contact is maybe too much for them. Does that make sense? I teach twice a week on the floors, so they see me pacing, going in and out. The opportunities to connect with the office, with our faculty, the office and the faculty have also like a great relationship. There's a very organic way that we work together through our meetings, and as David said, sculpting and moving the teaching plan forward. It all comes from feedback from students that goes to the teachers that come to us, and along with what the coordinators and our academic advisors are saying. It really makes a big difference, not only from the student towards us, but from us towards the student. Somewhere in what I said, I hope is the answer to your question. And we do have a question here and here as well.
Okay, I just wanted to know, will there be portfolio reviews today? Like after this, because
Today we're not checking portfolios. But please send us an email and we can make an arrangement. We'd love to see your work.
Hi, good morning. Two questions. One, I'm curious about the science classes that are requirement, the credits in science, if it's integrated to the majors.
Humanities and
examples?
sciences, 30 credits of humanities
What
and
are
sciences.
examples of those science classes, and if they're integrated to the majors? And the second question is about the foreign, like, exchanges with the Amsterdam school and all that. Is that something that is for the summer, or is it a same program that the SVA, like same kind of curriculum, and if it's extra money?
Okay,
or things like that?
all good questions. The specificity of our science classes is not really known to me. I wish my wife was here to answer these questions. She's a genetic biologist. But I know that the name of the department is Humanity and Sciences. I do believe, and that's a question for academic advisors, to see if they're like hardcore scientific classes that someone needs to take. My thinking is probably not, as long as you fill up your humanities that have a lot of different varieties. We have an entire department that does this. And we also introduce classes to that interest more illustration and comics. As far as the exchange program goes, it happens on the first semester of the junior year. I go through the curriculum of the foreign schools to see that there is equivalence between our classes, and the kids are coming back very strong and they haven't missed anything. The beginning of the junior classes is designed to allow someone to go somewhere else and come in with these gifts that come in from a place that it's not here. So it only happens in the junior year. And as far as I know, since I haven't done it or sent one of my kids there, I think the finances are equivalent. I also know that we give students a stipend specific for that program. So usually the handful of people that come there come back really happy. Okay? Thank you.
Also, I'm Farah Rizvi. I work in the admissions department, and I also went to SVA. I was a fine arts major, and just to talk a little bit about humanities and sciences, they're all integrated to kind of give you more knowledge and help you with your studio practice as well. So a really good example of one of the classes that I took was Light, Color, and Vision. It's a science credit, and it talks about the chemistry of color and how we can use that in our studio practices as well. And it really helps to kind of integrate the knowledge you're learning from your humanities and sciences into what you're doing in your art practice as well. So it's really helpful, and kind of it's not like you're taking class that does not relate with what you're doing. So just my sense on that. But we also have a question here.
If it's not a hard class, I'll take it too. Okay, good.
Hi.
Yeah.
This is super helpful. Right here. Yeah. There you go. Do you have any data or metrics on postgraduate success, such as what percentage of students found the jobs in the field that they were studying?
We do. I don't have them in my back pocket, but if you send me an email, I will send you the stats. We just finished that up because we have accreditation coming, so we actually had to focus on that. But it's very varied. It's very varied because of how people feel about employment. Other people are really looking, they really want a full-time job. And as I showed, you are a great candidate for a lot of those. Illustration and comics, other than being like picture making and storytelling, they do sit almost at the crossroads of like something as applied as graphic design and something as expressive as the fine arts. So there's a large spectrum. By having studied something really good in the middle, there is a wide spectrum, and we see this from, for example, the internships that our students will take. So it has to do with how you feel about it, and if you want a full-time job, a part-time job. A lot of people really want part-time jobs in order to push their career. That is their plan A, for example. And there are people that really like the flexibility of a freelance lifestyle. Let's call it a lifestyle. There is a lot of freelance, but there is, we progressively do fit in different pipelines, and illustration and comics don't really belong to that studio system the way animation or graphic design does, but progressively these spaces find a lot of usage for people that are really good with ideas and really, really good with a pencil, along with all the technology that bring with them. The spectrum of full-time jobs was like, for example, Jordan is working for the Society of Illustrators. She was offered a job at our industry day. She came in, she worked for 2 years with them as an assistant, and now she runs their programs and awards. So this is something like, okay, that's great that we are able to provide that. We're in great relationship with institutions like these. Also, people come to recruit for people to teach. Right from here, we had a graduate from last year that just got his first teaching job, art, in high school, and he was in our art teacher symposium. So you have a really big spectrum of things that people do according to the strengths, according to what they do. I mean, really, when you're done with your BFA and you're shopping your senior thesis project around, you're immediately working on your next project. As soon as you show something to people, they ask you what you're working on. So the work ethic that is developed and the rhythm that is developed is really, really a great asset for people to get a full-time job, and people do recognize these talents in our people. We have if we can finish there, and then let's come up in the front.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Khalil Saunderson. I'll stand up. I have 3 questions to ask. Could I host some concerts for for example, Comic-Con or something? And
That would I can tell you right away, by knowing Comic-Con really well, you would have to talk to the Comic-Con people.
also,
We're
what's
behind you, but these are the people you have to talk to.
all right. For the second question, what special incentives do they really show in SVA, this stuff or something? Which special incentives that you brought in SVA?
Special incentives, from the award-winning faculty to the structure of the departments. I'm going to go through the care and the love and the passion and all of that good stuff that goes with it. It's the events, the networking events, the professional events that happen here that provide a really well-rounded, industry-minded, artistic learning environment.
And also, last question, what does Industry Day contain? Does it contain comic books, illustration, or something?
Okay, excellent question. We partner again with our graphic design and advertising departments. So we rent a fantastic space where students have their own tables and have their own work, and over 300 professionals come in and zigzag and talk to people. We feed them enough caffeine, sugar, and carbs to get them going and reviewing and connecting with our students for all day long. So that's what Industry Day is. Can we come in and address? We have a couple of people here up front that have been waiting for a while. Number 1 and number 2. Thank you.
Do students have the freedom to choose the concepts and themes of their projects?
It's very assignment specific. For example, things are more structured in the beginning as you're acquiring your fundamental skills, so you're getting the muscles that you will need to lift whatever you want to lift, and progressively things do become more independent. For example, the adaptation project in the junior year is based on a book completely of your choice. As long as it's a published book, you can choose it in this language or any other language, as long as translated in English, so I can read it if I need to. But that's, for example, one place where it's completely on your own. And then your senior thesis is a project completely up to you. The only thing we make sure is, A, it's gonna be applicable to the industry, so there is a place you can take it as a pitch to get yourself employable or get a book published, and B, that in quality and quantity, it justifies its title as a senior thesis project. So yes, all the way to junior and senior year, more structured assignments, and then you get to do within reason what you want in the other classes. Teachers, faculty, instructors have their own way of kind of giving assignments. Within that specific assignment, you're also bringing yourself in it. You bring what you know about, you bring your passions, you bring what you would want to experiment with, other than what the teachers want you to, where your teachers want to grow. The way you will do it is very often completely up to you. So there's a great degree of flexibility and freedom in there. All the way to the end?
Good morning.
You've been very patient. Thank you.
I'd like to know, how would you incorporate AI as a form of, in your curriculum for illustration?
Okay. So AI, of course, is a very exciting technology development. We've been working with AI for years. All of the software that we used has a very big component of AI. Even the Adobe Suite has a very big component of AI. So what we're looking and we're actively developing is ways to organically incorporate the possibilities that are given to an image maker or a comics maker to go forward with it. So it will have to do with learning to work with the platforms and finding where you really need it. There is a part of what we do that is very important as far as the foundational, meaning AI, the best place for AI to be is in the hands of a great artist, not the other way around. So we raise great individual voice artists that will go out there and really forge the way forward in applying AI whenever they need it and whenever they choose.
Hi. Does SVA accept dual enrollment and AP credits from high school? And if so, how many?
Yes, they do. The academic advisors would be the right, this is above and beyond my mental capacity to know exactly what's going on. But yes, we do, and the academic advisors will let you know, and the admissions office will let you know how many of them would be applicable.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, from admissions. My name is Michelle Rossman. I can help answer a little bit of this question. The transfer credits are a case-by-case basis. So for anyone who is a high school student, if you've taken college-level coursework, when you apply, you'll just list that college on your application and send the transcript. And then for the students who are accepted, we send them a link that explains exactly which credits transferred.
Michelle to the rescue. Michelle, I'm waiting for your cue when we have to bring our panel up. Okay, so there's going to be a hook that will take me away from the stage. I think now it's good, Michelle said. So save your questions. I will be available outside while we're having lunch. And hopefully a lot of them will be answered by our fantastic panel. And without further ado, here we go. Kids, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I was up on the screen during Victor's presentation. I had blue hair at the time, but my name is Kelsey, and I am the illustration coordinator for BFA Comics and BFA Illustration, working with both students in both departments. And this is our panel today. Do you want to go down the line here and we'll introduce ourselves quickly?
Hi, my name is Miranda Barrington. That's me all the way at the end with the fox. And yeah, I'm a senior in the BFA illustration department.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm that one right there. I go by they, them, he, him pronouns, and I am also I'm a senior in the comics department.
Hi, y'all. Good morning. My name is B. Strayeski. I'm right there. And I am a senior in the illustration department.
Hello, my name's Taylor Fogarty. My work's also right there, and I'm a senior in the BFA Comics program.
Very nice. And so these are students that can share about their experiences at the school and hopefully answer any questions that you might have. Taylor, you are also pretty active in the Cartoon Allies Club as well, right?
I am the president of Cartoon Allies.
That would be very active, yes. So do we have any questions for our students?
So my question is, how specific are the classes to your, or like how regulated are the classes to your majors? Like are most of the classes, they require you to have a certain major in order to take them, or can you take any class? No matter your major.
Should I start, I guess? With illustration, I feel like it's so, not generic, but like you can go down a lot of paths. So it's kind of like what path you want to take. I'm very interested in like concept art. So I kind of choose classes that help me get there, you know, like character design, environment design, concept art classes, things like that. I have friends that are like interested in more like fine art stuff, so they do more like traditional media, things like that. You can take classes in other departments, but either you have to get permission if it's something that's way different, or you have to just do it like junior year, senior year. You have a lot more like options than like freshman, sophomore.
I can also add on to that for comics. It's pretty much the same. You can sort of take the classes you need to get to where you want. I'd say pretty much every class that I've taken at SVA has been relevant to what I want to achieve in the future. And also comics and illustration classes overlap a lot. So me as a comics major, I can take illustration classes. Them as illustration majors, they can take comics classes.
There is also some overlap with other majors like animation. Like there's an animation course that's open to every major. There's also one that's only for comics and illustration, which Tori Sika teaches, was one of the people earlier here. And it's a great class. I feel like I'm learning a lot about animation as a medium, and it opens up another pathway for potentially another career path if you want to do both comics and also work in animation.
I'd say it mostly comes down to research and making sure that you understand what the curriculum for the class is going to be. If you are interested in the faculty member or interested in their work, that's something we always encourage students to look into before registering for classes.
Hello. Hi, sorry. So my question is, has there been a good variety of students that have wanted to do tattoo, and how has the classes like helped them shape into their career, and how have they been successful in the career world?
Yay! Sorry, I love this question. I'm really excited. So I do some tattoos. I've been very lucky to be commissioned to do a couple just kind of off the cuff, just people reaching out to me. But SVA has just recently introduced a tattoo design course. So a thing that's really cool about SVA is I like how many classes they have that are applicable to the industry. So for example, we have so many different tracks in illustration. Like Miranda was mentioning earlier, there's a lot of stuff you can do. So tattoo is kind of being integrated as a track in itself that you can take. So learning fundamental drawing skills in your freshman and sophomore years to being able to take tattoo electives in your junior and senior year, to being in New York, which is, you know, the best place to get used to something like that. Yeah, that's about it.
Hello, sorry. We have a question from the online viewers, and that is, have any of you been a transfer student, or have you been freshmen here the whole time?
Do you want to start?
I can start. Oh wait, are you also transfer?
No, I'm not a transfer.
Oh.
I was gonna say the freshman, but you do that.
Yeah, so I just answered a question, but yes, I'm a transfer. My SVA, coming to SVA experience was very unique, and I'd be happy to talk about that while we're sitting at tables outside if you would like. But I went to community college for a year. And I just really felt like I was going to struggle with the transition to SVA. But upon coming here, I felt so welcomed by the community, and I really felt like this was my dream school and where I was supposed to be. So kind of just with enough determination and enough, I don't know, gumption, you can really kind of make it work.
Yeah, I also transferred. I transferred from New Jersey City University, and I majored in illustration there, so it was pretty easy transferring into illustration here. But yeah, I was also pretty worried about like, I guess like forming, or oh my gosh,
making friends.
Yeah, things like that. But yeah, joining clubs, like working campus jobs, those things definitely help like integrate yourself into the school. And everyone here is super friendly and like nice, so it was really easy. Yeah.
There's also a good amount of luck involved. Like you'll get these like friends, these connections eventually. I personally was just very lucky. I got paired with the best like random roommate in the world, so it's just like, yeah, it worked out pretty well. He's over there.
Daniel, you mentioned how comics and animation kind of bleed over. In your portfolio, would you recommend one of the items that you include is an animation that you created based on your illustrations, to include that to kind of show that bleed over to the faculty or to the admission staff, or should you just keep your portfolio only on comics and comics and illustration?
I feel like most of the portfolio should definitely be comics and illustration, but it also doesn't hurt to see like the variety of work that you have, because even though the major is called comics and illustration, both are pretty open to whatever you want to do. Of course, depending on the teacher that you take, but I think a good variety helps any portfolio, really, especially when it comes to this college where the first year is very foundational.
I can also add to that. I actually included animation in my portfolio while applying to comics. So if you have animation and you've already done animation, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't include it. Of course, as Daniel said, you should take priority to like illustration and comics stuff, but variety never hurts.
Hi, quick question. When you guys were looking to enroll in SVA, you were looking at other schools, RISD, Parsons, maybe, a few others out there. Why this school?
Sorry.
I can start. So you mentioned Parsons. I did Parsons pre-college classes while I was in high school. Like every Saturday, I would go into New York and like take these art classes. And I really hated Parsons. And I was looking at the other art schools.
Say that.
I know, sorry, I guess I shouldn't. And when I was like coming or thinking about coming here, I also did like an FIT tour. And they mentioned SVA in their tour. So that just really like confirmed it for me. I was like, oh my God, this is the school I want to be at. Like, I don't know, everything just kind of like pushed me here and I kept seeing it. And everyone was just really happy. And there was like a lot of great like alumni that I really liked. So that kind of, I don't know.
For
framed it
comics
for me.
specifically, I feel like SVA is one of the best schools for comics. There are not a lot of schools that offer like sequential like programs, like sequential art programs. I know SCAD does, but for me it was a decision between SCAD and SVA, and SVA just has a like, I love the location a lot more here. I love New York City, and that's like, I think location factors into it a lot, and then also like the connections you make in New York City, it's great.
Out of curiosity, is there anyone from Art and Design High School here? Yeah. So I attended Art and Design High School in Manhattan, and there is like a pipeline that exists from like, people who go to Art and Design, they go to SVA. And that was honestly most of the reason that I decided to come here. But also because, like Taylor was saying, this is the place to go to for comics in the United States. And it's just been one of the best experiences that I've ever had. Every teacher in the high school said to take the comics course if I were to go to SVA. So comics majors, you should come here.
Yeah, I actually didn't really look at many other art schools, just because I thought I was going to be an engineer. Yeah, I know. My parents were real pumped. They actually were. Unironically, my parents really love that I go here, and they're incredibly proud. And I'm glad that you all parents are here today. Thank you very much for supporting your kids and bringing them here, and wanting them to succeed in your dreams. You guys really are the powerhouse behind every creative. But that little speech aside, I applied to my dad's alma mater. I applied same school my sister goes to. I talked to somebody who had like a Johns Hopkins sweater on earlier. That's where I thought I was going. And SVA offered me a deal I couldn't refuse. And I was just like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. We'll try art school. And now we're about to graduate, so we're not leaving. So yeah, that's about how it went.
We do have another online question. Have all of the panelists lived on or off campus, and if so, where are you from originally?
Can I answer? Okay. I'm actually Brooklyn born and raised. I hope there's other New Yorkers here. Hi, guys. And I've lived there my entire life, so I commute instead of living on campus. And wait, what was the rest of the question? Could you repeat it, please?
They asked where you're from originally, and then if you've lived on or off campus, how your living situation is now.
Oh yeah, I live with my parents, and I love them. It's great. I get to save on rent and everything, and they've been very supportive of my career and everything. As Bea was saying, like, you guys really make the creatives of the world, so thank you. And commuting, it's not that bad, honestly. Like, the MTA sucks sometimes, but if you plan it out correctly, then you'll have a great time commuting, and you'll meet other commuters who are also great people.
I'm originally from Northern Virginia, but I live off campus. My first year, I was in the 23rd Street residence. They do have like pretty good, I guess, facilities, but for me personally, I just feel more comfortable off campus and having like my own space. And I found it pretty easy to find like a roommate who was also interested in living off campus and like finding a place. I'd say a lot of people go to New Jersey or Brooklyn though, for off campus living.
Speaking of New Jersey, I'm from Jersey. Right now I'm doing the commute. It's not too bad. I used to take the PATH train. Sometimes I take the bus. Both aren't that bad. It's like an hour 15, hour and a half. It's like the same from like Queens or the Bronx, honestly. I did do housing on campus at the 24th residence for 2 years. Loved it. Coming here, I was super scared, like I said, about making friends. So that's kind of why dorms. I did make a lot of good friends through dorming, but I didn't only make friends through dorming. I met them through classes, clubs, things like that. So yeah, I would say honestly, both are really good options. Like dorming kind of forces you to kind of have a friend group at first, but that may last, may not last. But does teach you a lot of good life skills, I guess, like living with people.
Yeah, I'm from Pennsylvania, like the middle. Like I'm solidly like Amish country guy. Yeah, woo,
The
Lancaster
TV show,
people.
The Middle.
Yeah, like the TV show The Middle. Yeah, but I did dorm for my first year here, which was my sophomore year because I was a transfer. I loved it. Honestly, the only reason I moved off campus is because I have a beautiful pet rabbit who I wanted to bring to New York with me. So you can't have pets in the dorms unless they're service animals, which is pretty common for colleges. And I love my rabbit. He doesn't do anything. So I can't even say that he has a job. He's unemployed. But yes.
How much walking do you guys do in New York? would
A
you say?
lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't like taking the bus because it's
Yeah.
always crowded. But so I usually just walk I work at the West Side Library, so every time I have to go to my East Side classes, I just walk the solid 20 minutes.
Good 20
It's
minutes,
great
yeah.
exercise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, quick note. Even if you live off campus, trust me, you are going to have a lot of friends. Most of my friends live on campus. Hi, Logan.
There is a good amount of walking, but honestly, that's something you sort of just get used to. The buses around here are also like relatively reliable. There's the 23rd Street bus that goes back and forth, and you can get from one side of campus to the other pretty easily. But honestly, the walk doesn't take too long, and it is good exercise, so why not?
I'll mention I'm a disabled student, so walking is a bit tough for me sometimes. But through taking the public bus, getting used to the public transit system, I have not found it to be too hard on me. SVA has very accommodating, disability-friendly buildings, and really the biggest problem is just that Manhattan is our campus, which is I knew that before coming here, and you just kind of get used to it. You figure it out. It's an adaptation to the world that you live in. So like on a day where I'm not feeling well or walking is hard, you figure it out.
I mean, honestly, one of my favorite parts about SVA is the integration into the city. That's a large reason I came here. Because I mean, I know I am technically an adult, but it makes me feel more like an adult to actually like live
yes.
not in a place that's like just college students. I feel much more like I feel like I've gained so much more experience not being on like a closed off campus. I feel like I just know so much now.
There's also just so much to find. Like when you're walking around doing like, you're like, oh, crud, like my class was canceled, and not that happens often, but like now I'm in Chelsea. What am I going to do? And, it's super awesome to that's how I found every food place I liked. That's how I found every like museum or attraction that I like. That's where you meet cool people, even though walking is hard sometimes, I would not change the urban campus for anything.
We will do one last question.
Hi, sorry. So as a student, I have trouble like having a creative flow and like pushing through like my art classes to like do my work by the deadline because I think it's so important to like want to make art and not just make it because you have a deadline to meet. Is there any advice that you guys can give for people that have that issue of trying to break through that creative flow to get their assignments done and still not being like it's like a chore to do your craft?
I can start. Honestly, like I was very much the same way, but the busier I am, the more productive I am because like I don't know, like I have a couple hours today to do this assignment. I have to do it today. I've worked 3 campus jobs and I have 2 jobs right now that I'm working. So knowing that like if I have like a set 2-3 days to do all my homework, I'm gonna do it just because like I know I have to. It's like kind of hard to force yourself to draw if you don't necessarily like have like the creative flow like you said. But that's something you learn through your studio classes. Like you learn how to kind of like turn art into just like a hobby and passion into like something you can turn on and off. Like it's something that you kind of develop, and the more you do it, the more easier it gets. And yeah, time management definitely like plays a huge part in that. Like if you know you're only productive at night, just set aside hours at night to do it.
Yeah, that's real. I kind of just do my work at night. But adding on to what you were saying, I feel like a lot of the pressure that you get from when you're doing art is the fact that you kind of treat it like an assignment, which can suck. Nobody wants to do homework. I don't like doing homework. I still do it though, by the way. In case my
Speak
teachers
for
are
yourself. I love homework.
listening. Okay. 4.0 GPA?
Yeah, I'm a dork.
Okay. I'm a point behind, damn. Anyways, so it's just trying to get it to feel like you're just doing it for fun. I unfortunately participated in Inktober this past month, and it was really tough because on top of working on thesis, I had to constantly come up with an idea each day of like what I want to do, what I want to draw, so on and so forth. And the way that I tackled it was I didn't do the prompt list because the prompt list is made by an evil person, fun fact. And I just did my own thing. I have 2 characters who are actually for my senior thesis, and I just did random scenarios of them doing stuff, and eventually became a flow of where I just loved doing it. It didn't get in the way per se of my normal assignments. I was managing to keep up and everything. So I think to summarize what I'm saying, just changing your mindset, really.
I think also to add on to that, I feel like art in high school is completely different than art in college. I hated my art classes in high school. That doesn't mean I hate art. Somehow I'm here. But I would say in high school, I felt like my art classes were very stifling and kind of depressing. And coming to SVA, I've had like a completely different experience. A lot of the assignments here I feel are a lot more interesting, a lot more open, and I find myself being able to incorporate what I'm interested in to what I'm doing. And that makes it a lot more motivating to like get through those projects. I will say sometimes you do have to sort of push yourself past your comfort point. Not that you should deny your like mental health and like physical boundaries, but sometimes sitting with a little bit of discomfort is like necessary.
My advice is find like a good way to reset yourself during the day, like something you can actively do that resets your mind. So for me, that's usually taking a shower or taking a nap is a good way of being like, I can't do anything else anymore. Let's take this break time and then reassess what I need to do. And it also just comes down to time management. Know when you work best. For example, a lot of people work really well at night. I do not. I love going to bed at 9 p.m. I love getting up at like 6 in the morning and going to the studio and doing my work. So that's just me, but it may be different for you. You may be like a 3 p.m. worker.
I think also another thing is like location matters a lot. If you're doing art at home, sometimes like being in the same room you sleep makes it very like hard to get your work done. For me, switching location, going to a cafe, going to the studio, going to SVA library, that sort of thing, I become so much more productive once I leave my house. And I think sort of getting that routine helps a lot in boosting productivity.
Yeah, thank you for the senior studio. I work 20 to 40 hours a week now. But one more thing to add on is just the teachers. I cannot stress enough how nice they are and how supportive they are. Each year, I always went through something that stifled my work, and trying to keep up with deadlines. And the thing is that as long as you're showing that you're doing the work, you're putting your best effort out there, which I'm sure all of you do already, the teacher is going to support you. They're going to understand. They're going to give you extensions. And I don't know, I've just loved how supportive every teacher has been. Thank you, Jason.
Very well said. With that, we're going to conclude today's panel as well as the live stream. Could we please give our panelists a warm round of applause?
Thank you.
And a thank you to everyone who joined us on YouTube. I have just a few remarks for you all. I really hope you found the presentations that we've done so far today informative and inspiring. Now, however, it is your turn to continue talking with us. In a few moments, I will invite you by groups to get lunch in the lobby, where I encourage you to continue chatting with these wonderful panelists, as well as Victor and his staff who will be in the lobby.
Please talk to us.
Yeah, they've brought some great work to show you all.
We have our portfolios.